There's a little bug in there. Nice.
Hey everyone, and welcome to my channel. I'm Nikki, and today's video I'm bringing you guys with me for an Aldi haul. I thought you could see the Aldi sign behind me, but you can't. But I'm about to go into Aldi and do some grocery shopping, and in my most recent grocery haul at Costco, I went in and kind of filmed some inside to show prices and stuff. So I actually wanted to get your guys' feedback and want to hear what you guys thought of that. Do you want me to include that more, or just where I go home and I walk through everything? Because I had both, but I get a lot of questions about prices for things, and I felt like this was an easy way to do it with just like a quick intro and just showing me shopping through the store. So I'm gonna do that again today, but let me know what you guys think. I'm heating up as the seconds go by. It is very warm today, but I am gonna head in. Adam's gonna be here any second. He was at brunch with his dad. I just got done at the gym. So we're gonna go get some groceries. I will bring it all home and share the points and the nutrition info, as well as what I do with the ingredients. But I hope you guys enjoy this video. If you do, please go ahead and give it a like and subscribe to my channel. I really appreciate it, and let's go shop. We are back from Aldi. I'm gonna go ahead and run through everything that we got and just how I use them to stay on track with my weight loss and maintenance journey. I'm always so happy at checkout when I realize the total, because it is just always so much lower when we go to Aldi. Even though we stocked up on a lot of things today, our total was $142. That was nice to see that it was a little bit less, especially when we just recently went to Costco and there every item is like $10 to $15, so it adds up really quickly. Anyway, I'm gonna start with the produce and just walk through everything that we got. Starting with these grape tomatoes, I actually kind of had a plan in my mind for everything that I got today for different meals for this week. Certain things that I've just been craving that I'm going to be making, like some fajitas, sesame noodles, and some pasta. All of those things I had in mind while I was shopping. I did get these tomatoes with the plan to just roast them up in the air fryer with a little bit of balsamic and basil and olive oil, maybe a little Parmesan, but I just roast them and then toss some pasta, which I've got some spaghetti noodles in them, and it makes a really nice kind of like saucy tomato sauce that isn't too much. That's what I plan to use these for. They're 0 points and they look really good. With that meal, I plan to make a side of asparagus. This bag's actually pretty big, so I'll probably just pop this in the oven and roast it too. Actually, if I have the oven on, I'll probably just do the tomatoes in there as well. They do work well in the air fryer. But anyway, I'm going to probably add some seasoning, some olive oil spray, or just regular olive oil, and then roast this up, and it'll be a nice 0-point side that makes the dinner just a little bit more filling. And I feel like with that amount, I might actually have leftovers, and sometimes I like to add the leftover asparagus to my eggs, or I'll just use them the next day to make a rice bowl or something. Okay, the next thing I had in mind I mentioned are chicken fajitas. I've got some chicken breast that I'm going to grill up, so I'm gonna cut that up and use it as the protein on the fajitas. I got some bell peppers that I will just saute up with actually some onion, which is why I got some red onions. So I'll just cook this up together, and that'll be the bulk of the fajitas with the chicken. I just love grilled pepper and onion with it. That's what I plan to use these for. Also for veggie mix like normal, or I just always need onions in the fridge, and I switch off between buying red onions and yellow, and I needed red this time. Specifically with those fajitas though, I'm also craving some homemade guacamole, which I really don't buy avocados that often. I'm not a huge fan of them. I just kind of crave them in waves, and recently I just happened to be craving them and craving some fresh guacamole. I got 3 avocados, and these will be ripe in like a day or two, so I might make that pretty soon. But with that, I just needed a little bit of cilantro. I'll probably use half of this for the guacamole, and then the other half to make like a medium blender type salsa. We actually still have some habaneros in the garden I need to use up, so I might use the rest of the cilantro for that. And then we are out of tomatoes at the moment. There's still some green ones on the plant, but I don't have any that are ripe. So I did get 2 Roma tomatoes today that I'm going to chop up and mix with the avocado, some onion, and cilantro to make the guacamole. And then I also just add some lime juice. When I used to work at the farm market bakery, I was always in charge of making the guacamole, but the batches would be 40 avocados for a small batch, and then 80 when I would do a double, and sometimes I would even do a triple batch, and it would take me so long to cut open those avocados. So having 3 here just seems so funny when I was used to just having like a full table full of avocados that I needed, and I'd have to chop up so many veggies for it. But anyway, it was always fun to taste test it. I grabbed some zucchini that we'll use for veggie mix, or I might just cut up and add to like pasta, or just have it as a type of vegetable for different bowls or something. So we just always need zucchini. I also got a cucumber this time. I actually don't have a plan for this, but I do like to use cucumber for snack plates, especially with tuna. And so I got some grapes and stuff, and I might assemble some snack plates. Actually, I got some pita chips I'm excited to share, but I thought those would be good for a snack plate with some cucumber, 0 points, and just helps to make things a little more filling. I find that instead of just having only cucumber with tuna or only the chips with tuna, it's nice to have a mix of both. It makes it more filling, and that way I just track the points for the chips or crackers, and then this is 0. Another meal I had in mind is sesame noodles. So when I make those, a lot of the time I like to use a coleslaw mix. This one has very little carrots in it, but it is just green cabbage and carrots. And I'll just cook this up in a pan with some sesame oil. Then maybe I'll add like edamame or a chopped up pepper, and then some type of protein, so like chicken or crab or something. And then I add in some Thai wheat noodles, which are my favorite from Trader Joe's. I just recently stocked up on them, so I've got some in the cabinet, but that's why I got this coleslaw mix. It's 0 points on WeightWatchers, and for a quarter of the bag, it's got 2 grams of fiber, so not a crazy amount, but helps to add some fiber and just some veggies to my meals. We've got some romaine in the fridge, but I got some more today because I've actually been craving just like a side salad before dinner. And I guess we're doing the asparagus with the pasta, so I might save it for a different meal, but I've really been enjoying just having like a quick side salad before dinner or with dinner, and it just helps me to get more 0 point foods and veggies. It takes a little bit of pressure off maybe getting veggies in every meal, because I always try to have at least 1 vegetable incorporated, but there are sometimes for lunch I just don't, and so having a salad before dinner always helps with that, or even if I can't think of a vegetable to incorporate with dinner. So anyway, got some more lettuce for that. Like I mentioned, the snack plate, I got these grapes, so I love that they have this at Aldi. It's got green and red grapes, because I can never decide. I always say I prefer red grapes, but then when I get good green grapes, I really enjoy them. Good green grapes, did I say that right? When I get good green grapes, I really enjoy them, so that's why I like to get this mix here. Both 0 points on WeightWatchers and a perfect addition to a snack plate. Or sometimes I'll just finish my breakfast and lunch and crave something sweet, and this really does satisfy my sweet tooth. We always need some more bananas, so just for protein shakes for Adam to take to work. Sometimes I cut one up and add it to my bowl of cereal. Oops. And so that's why I got more of these. Okay, I needed some more apples. So this was a little bit of a smaller bag. There's 4 in here, but I actually plan to go to the market this weekend and get some rave apples. I've really been enjoying those. But to hold me over until then, I got these. They're 0 points on Weight Watchers. They've got a really good sweetness to them. And I like to have them after my dinner every single day. It just helps me to stay on track. It's a healthy habit that I like to stick to, and it just makes me feel better, helps me to fill up a little more with some fiber, and then I still have my dessert after, but it's just a nice routine thing I do to stay on track with my journey. So Cosmic Crisp have been my favorite lately, other than rave apples. I grabbed some mushrooms. I don't know exactly what I'll do with these, but it's always just nice to have them to add to eggs in the morning. I've really been craving like a potato egg skillet, so I might make that soon. I did get potatoes. I don't think I have any hash browns left, but I do have some freezer hash browns. Either way, I can mix those with some scrambled eggs and then mushrooms, maybe some bell pepper, or I still have some sweet peppers in there, and then it's just a nice filling breakfast. So I really like mushrooms. I like them also roasted in the oven lately I've been doing, and I feel like it's brought out a little bit more flavor and just really good. Maybe I'll even do that with the asparagus or something. We'll see. I recently made some homemade mashed potatoes, and Adam and I both really enjoyed them, so I decided to get this big bag of potatoes, and I'll probably do a big batch of them. Like I said, maybe I'll use some of these for a breakfast skillet, just a couple, and roast them, and then the rest of them I'll chop up and boil in some water and then mash them. I was also kind of thinking about doing a lightened up potato salad, so let me know if that's something you guys would want to see. I know Adam would enjoy that, but that was something that I had in mind with these as well. Hopefully I just remember to use these right away, because whenever I buy potatoes I end up putting them in the pantry and forgetting about them, but we really enjoyed those mashed potatoes, so I do want to make them again. Okay, a couple canned veggies that I got. I did get some canned mushrooms just because we were out, and sometimes I just prefer these when it comes to like pizza, or when I make the green bean onion mushroom dish that I like to have as a side dish. I grew up eating these, so I just prefer them sometimes, and they're 0 points and help me to get a little bit of extra fiber and make meals more filling. I got these diced tomatoes because I really like using them for tomato sauce for like pizzas or for pasta. We just needed more of these in the pantry. We've got some of like the diced and roasted with green chilies. I like to just have the plain ones as well. And then I did get this thing of crushed tomatoes, which I will just use for a salsa that I'm going to be making. Like I mentioned, with the extra cilantro, I'll just mix that with some onion and then some jalapeno peppers, maybe some habanero peppers. We'll see how it's going, but that is why I got this can of crushed tomatoes, which are also 0 points. I grabbed some strawberries. These are in the freezer section, and I love to use them as a base for yogurt bowls. So I'll just take a serving, usually like a cup, out and heat it up in the microwave. And once it gets nice and warm, I like to actually get it kind of hot and then mix it with the yogurt, but you could even just do it to thaw if you like them a little bit on the colder side. But they're 0 points, and I just top them with my yogurt and some cereal, and it's a really satisfying dessert. Okay, moving on to a couple of dairy items. I got some reduced fat Mexican style cheese blend. I've used this for so many different things, whether it's eggs or pizzas or pasta or tacos. Anything I need shredded cheese for, this Mexican cheese blend really works well. It's just a blend of cheddar, Monterey Jack, asadero, and quesadilla finely shredded cheeses. So also works well for quesadillas. But it's 90 calories for the 1/4 cup serving, 6 grams of fat. It's got 2 carbs and 7 grams of protein, and the serving's 4 points on Weight Watchers, which is actually a little bit higher for a shredded cheese when it comes to the reduced fat ones, but this is what they have at Aldi, so I just make it work, and I don't always use the full serving, but sometimes I do. I needed some more Parmesan cheese, which I like to use for veggies and for pasta. This is just shredded Parmesan. It's 4 points for the serving of an ounce, 110 calories. It's got 8 grams of fat, 1 carb, 1 gram of fiber, and 9 grams of protein in that serving. And again, I don't always use the full serving, but it is a nice option to have for especially like asparagus and even like green beans. I really like to use it to add some extra flavor and like meltiness, but this is just their shredded Parmesan cheese. I really like these slices of mozzarella. They're only 2 points for one, and they're not thin sliced, so they're actually pretty big, you can see, but they work really well for pizza recipes and stuff like that, or even just like sandwiches or tuna melts. It's 2 points for a slice, 60 calories, 4 grams of fat, 1 carb, and 5 grams of protein, and it is just mozzarella slices. I think it comes with like 10 or 11 in there. So nice for like sandwiches and stuff, like I said, and it melts pretty well. Okay, a couple bread items. This is their thin sliced grain-tastic bread. I've kind of been craving some toast in the morning, just like this, and also I've been craving peanut butter and jellies. I mentioned that in the Trader Joe's haul. And then we just haven't really had much bread that works well for it. That's why I grabbed this loaf today. It is 2 points for a slice or 4 points for 2 slices. And what I really like is it's got these seeds on the side. It adds some good flavor to it. But for a slice, it's 70 calories, 1 gram of fat. It's got 13 carbs, 2 grams of fiber, 3 grams of sugar, and 3 grams of protein. For 2 slices, it's got 4 grams of fiber and 6 grams of protein, which isn't bad. And then sometimes, like I said, I'll add some peanut butter and jelly. I'll also make lunch meat sandwiches or open-faced like tuna melts with it. And even for breakfast, it works well as a toast option. But we haven't gotten this in a while. It feels like we used to always buy the Ezekiel bread, so I'm actually really craving this. This has become one of my favorite items at Aldi, actually. It is their whole wheat, flax, and oat brand pita breads. They're 1 point for 1 and 2 points for 2, which is really nice because sometimes I'll make like 2 big open-faced like pizza type things with them, or they also work well to make a big sandwich. I made big PB&Js with these actually and it worked really well, but also with like some grilled chicken, some lettuce and all that. It works as just like a big sandwich bread, and if you toast it up and kind of make it like a panini, it's even better that way. I also just made some regular pizzas on these and they were delicious. For one of them, it's a point, 70 calories, 1 gram of fat. It's got 11 carbs, 3 grams of fiber, and 6 grams of protein. So again, if I have 2 of these, then I'm getting 6 grams of fiber and 12 grams of protein, which is nice. It's more filling, and at only 1.70 calories, they're definitely worth it. Then I needed some more of these corn tortillas. This is my favorite brand. It's El Milagro. So for 1 tortilla, it's 1 point. For 2, it's 3 points. For the serving of 2 of them, it's 100 calories, 1.5 grams of fat, 21 carbs, 2 grams of fiber, and 3 grams of protein. These work well to make like little quesadillas or mini tacos, but a lot of the time I like to just spray a pan with some nonstick spray and then heat them up on both sides, and then they're nice and soft and much more flavorful, and they just work really well for tacos or fajitas. So I specifically got these for the fajitas I'm going to be making. Okay, next up we've got some proteins. I love this rotisserie styled pulled chicken from Aldi. It is, first of all, a pound, so it's a good amount, and it is so seasoned, so I never need to add anything to it. I usually mix it with some Greek yogurt and mayo, or even some like mustard or buffalo sauce if I'm doing like a buffalo chicken salad, and I make a big chicken salad out of it with some veggies. I'll add some chopped up pepper and onion, and really you can just mix up whatever you do with it, but it's so seasoned you don't even really need to add anything. I've also used it for pasta and for like taco bakes or like enchiladas. It works well as a filling mixed with some taco sauce or even with like refried beans. So I think I'm going to make chicken salad, but I haven't fully decided what I'm going to do with this, but it is 0 points on WeightWatchers, 110 calories for 3 ounces. It's got 2 carbs and 20 grams of protein in that serving. So it's just their fully cooked rotisserie pulled chicken. I grabbed 2 pounds of 93% lean ground turkey. I'm just going to turn this into ground taco meat. It's always something that I have prepped in the fridge because we can make so many different meals out of it, and it's just a really convenient high protein option. A lot of the times I'll make a taco bowl out of it, or especially when I'm going to have some salsas and guacamole made, I'll make tacos or burritos or even just a big plate of nachos. But it's a nice higher protein option that's 0 points on WeightWatchers. It's got 160 calories for 4 ounces, 9 grams of fat, and 22 grams of protein. Okay, I actually just made a thing of bacon the other day, so I just got a backup so it's in the fridge for the next time we need it. But I like to just make the whole thing ahead of time, and then I have it prepped and ready to add to a breakfast if I'm making like scrambled eggs or something, or if I want something for lunch like a BLT wrap or a sandwich with bacon. It's nice to have this, and I actually made the whole batch the other day for some jalapeno popper pasta. That's why I needed to get more, but super good. It's only 2 points for 2 slices, which is nice. When I started WeightWatchers, I thought that I had to cut out bacon and could only have turkey bacon. I always just thought that was like the healthy option. And when I realized that I could get center cut and have 2 slices for 2 points, I never went back to turkey bacon. I don't mind turkey bacon, but I definitely just prefer this. 50 calories for 2 slices, 4 grams of fat, and 5 grams of protein. And it's just something that's nice to enjoy in moderation every now and then. Okay, I mentioned I'm making sesame noodles, so I think I'll probably use this for that dish. This is leg style imitation crab meat. It's 3 points for the serving of 3 pieces, so you can see it's these sticks like this, which I kind of prefer to get it like this. It's easier to measure out the serving, but for that serving, 3 points, 90 calories. It's got 14 carbs, 4 grams of sugar, and 6 grams of protein. And I'll probably just chop it up and mix it in with the sesame noodles with the cabbage and maybe some other vegetable, like I said. A little soy sauce, toasted sesame oil, and maybe some teriyaki if it needs it, but it's usually really quick and easy to throw together. And I haven't had this in a while, actually. I'm craving this. Adam needed some more lunch meat for his sandwiches, and actually I've been having more lunch meat sandwiches lately. We've been getting bagels, or I've also made some 2-ingredient dough bagels, and I like to turn those into lunch meat sandwiches. They're super filling and help me get some protein. This turkey is 0 points on WeightWatchers. The serving for 2 ounces has 60 calories, 2 grams of fat, 2 carbs, 1 gram of sugar, and 90 grams of protein. So it's just their finely sliced, lower sodium, oven roasted turkey breast. Okay, a couple drink items we got. This is the Friendly Farms 2% reduced fat, lactose-free chocolate milk. So it is 6 points for the serving, but I usually like to get the chocolate milk for creamies, and I've been making more creamies lately. For 1 cup, it's 140 calories and 6 points on WeightWatchers. It's got 5 grams of fat, 13 carbs, 12 grams of sugar with 6 added, and then 14 grams of protein. It's a nice option to have for creamies. Usually we'll do a cup and then split it between the 2 of us. But this has been a nice replacement. They actually don't even carry Fairlife at our Aldi anymore, so this has been a good option. We couldn't find the fat-free milk, but we actually didn't really need it this time, so it worked out. Then Adam got this for his coffees. It is just their medium roast cold brew coffee. It's 0 points on WeightWatchers, 10 calories, 2 carbs, and 1 gram of protein, and it's just cold brew coffee that he likes to either sometimes have plain with some ice, or other times he'll add in maybe like a splash of a protein shake or some skinny syrups or something like that, but he likes to use this as a caffeine option. And does it say how much caffeine it has? It's got 198 milligrams of caffeine per 12-ounce serving, and there's 4 servings, so a lot of caffeine in there, but he enjoys this. A couple pantry items. So I needed more soy sauce, and this is just the reduced sodium. If that's an option, I pretty much always get that. I just prefer it for the reduced sodium. I find it's a little too salty when it's the red bottles. I always go for green. So anyway, 0 points on WeightWatchers. I use this for sesame noodles and fried rice and stuff, but I needed more of it. I'm excited to try this out. So I really like the brand Coop's mustard. They've got a spicy one. I can't even think of what it's called, but I get it all the time from Walmart and it's really good. I decided to try this one out today because it looks very similar. It's sweet and heat mustard, 10 calories for the serving of a teaspoon and 0 points. And I just really like to use these types of mustards on sandwiches or mixed in with like tuna or chicken salad whenever I make it. It adds a good kick, especially the Coop's one is pretty spicy. This one says it has a kick too, so I'm excited to test this out and see how it is. I'm almost done with the jalapeno everything bagel seasoning that I got from Aldi, so I decided to get the Asiago cheese one this time. This is so perfect to top 2-ingredient dough bagels when I make them, so I'll just top them with some egg wash and sprinkle a really good amount of this on, and they really add good flavor. These are just like the Stone Mill Aldi brands, and they've got a couple other ones. Like I said, jalapeno, I think they have a classic, and I feel like there's one other one, but anyway, they add really good flavor and I've really been enjoying them, so I'm excited to try the Asiago. Also got some syrup. So actually, I don't know how many points this is. It is 4 for 2 tablespoons and 50 calories. It's got 12 carbs and 12 grams of sugar in that serving. It's not a sugar-free syrup, but it is a fewer calorie syrup. I like to use this in moderation whenever I make like pancakes or French toast and I just want a little bit of syrup. A lot of the times I like to add fresh fruit and then that adds a good amount of like sweetness and like juiciness onto them, so I don't need as much syrup. Sometimes I'll use a tablespoon for 2 points, and then if I have some extra weeklies, maybe I'll do 2 tablespoons. Usually it's worth it to just incorporate it in moderation. And then speaking of pancakes, I did get some protein pancake and waffle mix. This is just the Aldi brand. It's 5 points for the serving, which makes about 3 4-inch pancakes. It's got 220 calories, 2.5 grams of fat, 36 carbs, 5 grams of fiber, 5 grams of sugar, and 15 grams of protein. So it is higher in protein. It works really well to make waffles and pancakes. I like to prep them ahead of time so that we just have them ready and made in the fridge. I usually just make the whole box at once. And actually last time I made them chocolate waffles, adding some cocoa powder, and it was really good. Okay, only a couple freezer items. We've tried this brand before and really liked them. They are Diana's Bananas, or maybe it's just Diana's and they're called bananas. I don't know why I've said that, but they're real banana bites dipped in dark chocolate, and for the serving of 3 pieces, it's 4 points on WeightWatchers. Pretty similar to True Fruit, but these don't have peanut butter in them. They've got 80 calories in that serving, 4.5 grams of fat, 11 carbs, 1 gram of fiber, 8 grams of sugar, and 1 gram of protein. I just love having frozen fruit dipped in chocolate as the dessert option. That's why I really like True Fruit, but this is definitely a cheaper option. So I was happy to see it was dark chocolate because I think we got the milk chocolate ones before. Either way, it'll be nice to have in moderation. Usually after I finish my apple after dinner, I want something else. And so this is the type of thing that I like to have sometimes. These chicken pot stickers are some of my favorite. They are just the Aldi brand, and you can have 5 of them for 6 points on WeightWatchers. Technically it says the serving is 6 pieces. Usually we just do a 4-point serving as like a side with fried rice and stuff, and that's a pretty big serving as well. They also work well in soup, but for the serving of about 6 pieces, it's 240 calories, 5 grams of fat, 41 carbs. It's got 3 grams of fiber, 3 grams of sugar, and 9 grams of protein. It also comes with a sauce packet, and I love that they give the information separately because usually it's just like incorporated, but they give the info separately, so if you do want to include the sauce, it would make it a little bit higher in points. I actually haven't even tried it. Usually we just don't even use it. A lot of the times I like to just like cut these up and mix them in with the fried rice or the noodles that I make. These really help to satisfy the craving for takeout Chinese food. And even when we get noodles in company, we always like to get the pot sticker appetizer, but it feels really expensive for what you get. And these are just as good. So usually I just like to make them at home now instead of actually ordering them out. So these are a really good option for that. Okay, then moving on to the last few things I got, which are just some snacky things. Of course, my favorite, these are the sweet chili brown rice crisps. I actually just got one bag today, but they were fully in stock, so that's always good to see. These are gluten-free. They're 4 points on WeightWatchers for the serving of about 12 crisps. They've got 140 calories, 7 grams of fat, 16 carbs, 1 gram of fiber, 2 grams of sugar, and 2 grams of protein, and these just have such good flavor. I got so lucky because the last couple bags I got were so over-seasoned, but in the best way. So I'm hoping they're still like that, although that's not usually normal. But even when they're seasoned normally, they're so good. They have such good flavor, and I like to have them plain or as a base for nachos. And I just crave them all the time. They're really good. So if you can ever get your hands on these at Aldi, I highly, highly recommend these. Probably my favorite item there. Okay, then we also got some of these Parmesan garlic and herb pita chips. They just sounded really good for like a snack plate. I'm always looking for things to dip in my tuna. And like I mentioned before, the cucumber is really good with some of the tuna, but then the rest I'll have some pita chips or something. Also, these will be good with some hummus, and I've got a little bit of the basil boar's head, my favorite hummus, in there. So I need to have some of that with these, but they're crisp Mediterranean style pita breads baked into a perfectly balanced chip, and I feel like Parmesan garlic and herb sounds really good. For 9 chips, it's 4 points on WeightWatchers, 130 calories, 4.5 grams of fat, 19 carbs, and 3 grams of protein. The last thing that we got today, these I think are meant to be pretty much like popcorners. I forgot, I was on the lookout for the Fairlife protein shake looking drinks. Apparently Aldi made like a copycat version, but I didn't see them today. But anyway, I was thinking these look very similar to popcorners. They are popcorn chips, white cheddar, and they also had kettle, which were a red bag. So pretty much popcorners. But for the serving of about 16 chips, it is 4 points on WeightWatchers. 130 calories, 5 grams of fat. They have 20 carbs, 1 gram of sugar, and 2 grams of protein, and they are gluten-free. I kind of want to try them just to compare and see if they taste like popcorners. Adam, do you want to try these popcorner things? Okay, so they definitely look like it, but actually they don't seem as fluffy. They kind of seem a little denser. I don't know, we'll see. So they're very coated though with that white cheddar. And 4 points, I think, is the same as popcorners, right?
Yep.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Okay, those are definitely crunchier though. I feel like popcorners kind of like melt in your mouth. These are crunchy, but good.
Yeah, I like them.
The white cheddar flavor is really good.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah. Okay. That wraps up everything we got from Aldi today. I hope you guys enjoyed this and found it helpful. If you did, please go ahead and give it a like and subscribe to my channel. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next time.
Bye.